I'm Max, and I play guitar and sing in Signals Midwest.
Okay, so you told me this is your second year at Fest?
Yep, we came down last year. We never toured down here because there are a million bands on tour, and it's really hard to do, so we usually just make the trip from Ohio. But yeah, this is our second year here.
Oh, very cool. And you said that like you thought that it was like really overwhelming.
Yeah, it's super overwhelming. Just like hugging everybody and running into everyone you've met in the past decade from touring and playing music and booking shows, and yeah, it's really awesome. And there's usually like a 4 or 5 hour period in like the middle of Fest where I just need to like hide and not talk to anyone and just like go to a coffee shop and like sit at my computer and zone out. Like it's it's a lot of social activity, and it's awesome, but it's tiring.
And there's 4 days this year too, so.
Yeah, I know. And we did pre-fest, which added an extra 2 days, so it's basically like a week of just non-stop interaction, which is awesome, but I'll be ready for it to be over when it's over. Yeah.
Definitely. So your new full-length Light on the Lake just got released.
Yeah.
Was it recorded live like the last record?
Yeah, for the most part. When we did Latitudes, it was like 90% live, and then we just overdubbed like a couple guitar solos and some vocals. And then this one was like, we still did guitar, bass, and drums all together, but then I did like a third guitar track on most of the things, and then there were a bunch of other overdubs we did too, with like just getting different sounds, and there's like cello on it, and there's like, 5 or 6 guitar tracks going at once in some places, and a lot more like overdubbed vocal melodies and everything too. So yeah, it was sort of like a similar bass process, and then we just added a lot more on top of it this time around.
So all of your releases, they have like a really raw feel to them. Is that something that you do on purpose?
It's because we don't have any money. I would really like to go into a studio and like spend a lot more time making a record, but I think just we as a band have always just done what we could afford, and with the resources that were available to us, and our friends run a studio and they are willing to come out and help us and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's just, this is what we're capable of doing right now. I mean, like, we've never gotten like money to record a record or anything. It's always just been like save and play shows and work, and then dump that into making something cool.
Yeah, for sure. So what do you hope people take away from the album?
That's a good question. I hope that someone was telling me that they didn't really listen to the lyrics of our band, and that kind of bums me out because I stress over that stuff so hard. So I hope that people can, I hope they like the music, because that's the collaborative part. The lyrics are the only thing that I do completely on my own, and I guess it's kind of a selfish thing, but I don't know. I hope that people can identify with them in some way, and even if they don't get quite what I meant from that, maybe they can take something from it for themselves, or glean some kind of knowledge or wisdom or comfort, or just be like, oh, that was kind of a cool line. I don't know. I guess if people can connect to our band in any way and make it their own, I think that's the most special thing, and it's way more important than anything I could ever, I don't want to be like, here's what this song's about, here's what you need to take away from it. Like,
yeah.
If they get something out of it that I didn't intend, I think that's awesome.
For sure. So in all your time as a band, what do you consider to be one of the best moments of Signals Midwest?
There have been so many good ones. I've had like an unfair amount of fun in this band over the past 5 years. Our first tour out to the West Coast was really great in the summer of 2011. I think we were all just like exceedingly excited to be on the road, and like we hit California and played for like 8 people. It was such a fun show. We played this place called VLHS, Vince Lombardi High School, in Pomona, California. We played their first show ever back in July 2011, and that's a very memorable show to me. And also our set last year at Fest was, I think, probably my favorite show.
most absurd thing you've done or that has happened to you on tour?
It's a good one. We played in an abandoned Chinese restaurant in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and that was like the weirdest place we've ever played a show. We slept in a converted jail in Ottawa, in Canada, which was really sweet, and it was like a hostel, and they would like lock you in at night. There were like bars on the windows and shit. I mean, you could get out whenever you wanted, but like, it was pretty creepy. And then there was like a bar and venue like off to the side, and I guess it was where the last public hanging was in Canada.
Oh my
and there
God.
were like these 40-foot walls and this big like tree that hung off of it, and I guess they used to like lynch people there. So that was one of the weirdest experiences we ever had, just like being in a strange place on tour. And I don't know, we get into some drunken shenanigans, but those are the two that come to mind right now.
One of the guys who writes for Poor Poetry, he couldn't be here, but he really wanted to know Florida versus Ohio, which is better and why?
Are you fucking kidding me? Ohio? What am I gonna say? I'm not gonna say the place that I'm not from. I love Ohio. It's dirt cheap. I think every season is beautiful there. People in Ohio, especially in Cleveland, have this really impressive resilience about them that I guess is just bred into them from like enduring winters and potholes and sports disappointments. So I love it there. I've been there for 24 years and I haven't found a reason to leave yet. So I'm gonna go with Ohio because I'm from there, man. Come on.
A lot of people hate the place that they're from.
I love it.
Isn't that like a standard, like, well, it's more like a pop punk, like, I hate my hometown,
Yeah, like,
but I
get
love
out
my
of your
hometown.
Like, no, you gotta make stuff happen there. You just can't sit and complain. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
Also, Cleveland has a lot of great history. Like, the term rock and roll was coined there. And like, I don't know. I love it there. There's a lot of good stuff happening.
So now that Light on the Lake is out, do you have any plans for what's next? Or?
Yeah. Steve, our drummer, finishes school at the end of next semester, so we're gonna try to tour a lot more. We'll be out in the East Coast in January, and then we'll be doing stuff throughout the spring. I think we're gonna try to go to Europe in the summer, so I'm really excited about that. I just need to save some money for a plane ticket. But yeah, I think just touring, and I think we've done 3 full lengths now. We've never done an EP before, so I think we just want to write like 4 really awesome songs and put them out on a 7-inch next, because we've never done that before. It's always just been splits or full-length LPs, so I think I'd like to do a smaller batch of songs and then release that. So maybe that'll be a 7-inch or a 10-inch or something.
Very cool. So, any parting words?
Parting words? Like last words? Famous last words?
Something that is just vitally important that everyone should know.
I don't know. I don't think I'm that intelligent.
Yeah.
I'm a meat eater, and I had a gator burrito at Boca Fiesta yesterday, and it changed my life. So if you're not vegan or vegetarian, go check that out. And if you are vegan or vegetarian, then that's fine. I think that's all I got.
Second rule for being on stage. Yeah? Alright. 5-second rule.
5-second rule for being on stage.
Oh, yeah.